Most editors are focusing on the wrong things. Take it from me, I spent years obsessing over fancy transitions and cool effects, but most of what makes a good edit is what the audience doesn't see. So that's why I'm going to share with you the 5 techniques that have absolutely transformed my work. I've also included an extra bit of advice at the end of the video, so stick around for that. I promise it's worth it. The first step is to murder your darlings. I know that sounds bad, but what it really means is that every editor has a favorite shot, favorite sound effect, favorite transition. They might love it, but what really is, it's ruining their edit. A great editor can separate themselves for what they like and what works for the edit, so they know exactly what to cut. Best way to figure out what works and what doesn't, just show it to someone else. You have to look out for when they have a reaction to something. And if at any point you see that attention dwindling, cut that part out. The second piece of advice is systems. Let me explain. Some of the best editors I know run the edit like it's a fast food restaurant. What does that mean exactly? Well, every time you go to a fast food restaurant, no matter where you are in the world, they will make that burger the exact same every single time. Why is that? Because they have systems. And the same can be used with editing. You can organize your footage with bins. You can also pre-prepare certain transitions and effects that you know you're going to use in every single edit for a specific client. For example, if I know that one client has a specific brand package, I will create a sort of effects pack with their font, their logo, all the different animations I know they like, so that every time I open up my editing software to edit for them, it's going to be the exact same every single time. I don't have to remake anything, so it's going to be quicker, it's going to be easier, and it'll give your brain a lot more time to come up with the actual things that matter, the creative decisions, the storytelling. On the topic of systems and workflow, there's one piece of advice I learned from the YouTuber and storytelling genius, Dodford. In one of his videos, he outlined the edit on a street method. The method goes like this. Imagine that your timeline is a street and you're a property developer. You have to develop all the buildings on that street. The thing is, a good property developer is not going to go building by building, fleshing out the entire building, isolating on all the details of that building and then moving on to the next. No, a good property developer is going to build them all up at the same time. Starting with the foundations, the basic structure, the roof, and then the finishing touches, all at the same time. So imagine your timeline the same way. You start with a rough pass, a story pass, if you will. Then you focus on things like titles and effects, and audio, music, and the finishing touches like color grading and VFX. That way, you're able to look at your timeline as a full picture. You can actually see it from a bird's eye point of view, which is the best way to edit, and it's the quickest way of editing as well, surprisingly. Before we get on to the next tip, if you're enjoying so far, why not write down below your advice for new editors? You might just help someone out. Everyone knows you can make or break an edit with audio, but what a lot of people neglect is layering. One sound is good. Once you start layering a lot of sounds together, you begin to create a soundscape, and that will immerse your viewer. That is what's going to make your videos great, because a viewer can forgive bad video, but a viewer can never forgive bad audio. See what I did there? Number 5. Storytelling is simple. You don't always have to cut. Oftentimes, you shouldn't. Leave in an emotional beat, leave in some silence. As the prolific editor Walter Murch once said, you would never say that a certain film was well edited because it had more cuts in it. Oftentimes, the best films aren't fast-paced cuts all the time. Oftentimes, they linger. Of course, you can have a scene with fast cuts in it, as long as it matches the emotion and tone of the scene. Before you make any cut, make sure you ask yourself, will this disturb the story, the flow, and the emotion of the edit? If you don't need that cut there, don't cut. You see there, I should have cut. I told you I'd tell you one more piece of advice, and here's how it goes. It's something I learned from Ed from Film Booth. It's all about the London Underground. A few years back, they did a customer satisfaction survey, and what made the biggest difference in satisfaction wasn't cleanliness, wasn't speed, it was knowing exactly when the train would be there. They found out that people were happier waiting for longer, as long as they knew how long they were waiting, as opposed to waiting for a short amount of time and not knowing how long they were waiting. You can use this in your edits. And the easiest way of doing this on platforms like YouTube, these chapters. But if you're making short form content, the best way of doing it is with progress bars or timers, or just any indicator that allows the audience to know exactly when the next section is coming up and how long this one has left. And trust me, if people know how long you're gonna be yapping about a certain thing, they'll be much happier waiting for the next thing. So give it a shot, try it out, let me know what happens. There you go, you made it to the end, and hopefully you become a slightly better editor. If you found this video useful and will learn more about editing, filmmaking, and production, then I'd greatly appreciate if you subscribe. If I still haven't convinced you, then how about you try watch this video here? I hope to see you again very, very soon.